Hello, everyone. I'm Josue Crims Rojano, and with me are both Kyle Pooka Sukovic and Michael Pramawat. And we are here in the top 16 of the Philadelphia Regionals. And on the left, we have Ryan Sabelhaus going up against Aaron Worob, I believe.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, so Ryan is playing Darkrai Hammers, and Aaron is playing the infamous Ho-Oh deck. So what are you guys' opinion on it?
The Ho deck has yet to see really a lot of play, so I'm really interested in seeing exactly what kind of strategies come out of it. But we all know exactly how the Darkrai Sableye deck plays out.
Yeah, I mean, the Ho-Oh deck just kind of feels like one of those decks that just is kind of in every format where it's like, I know it's there, I don't actually want to play it because it's kind of a risky play, but when I play against it, I'm like, this is kind of scary. A lot of stuff can drop down, there can be some Trachians here, I just don't know what's going to happen next.
But did you just see the end and then Aaron kind of just show his hand and go like, hey, look what you're playing against, buddy. He showed him a handful of like different colored energies and a couple of trainers. I don't think he had a single supporter.
Yeah, I think these players probably had a lot of pregame talk and kind of revealed what each other was playing. So they're like, yep, this is my hand. Haha, you end this away.
Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting to see that we have a Darkrai coming up against its arch nemesis, Sigilif.
I think it's called Sigilyph, like a sigil.
I believe it's actually Sigilif, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. 1-0 Crims.
But yeah, the whole safeguard thing prevents Darkrai from hitting Sigilif. So if that's the only Pokemon that sits there the entire game, we might have to see Sableye confuse Ray to death.
Well, that's pretty easy with Darkrai Hammers. All you have to do is just get a Sableye out. You just sit there with the Crushing Hammer and you junk hunt until they finally miss energy drops on the Sigilyph, and then you just go in with Confuse Ray.
Sir, I believe the name is Sigilif. Thank you very much. But regardless, we do see an Ultra Ball come out of Ryan's deck, and he actually discards a Darkness Energy, which is exactly what he wants to do. And not only that, but he finds himself the Sableye, which really puts him in a pretty good position right now.
Yeah, if he has Dark Patch here, or he has an Energy Switch in his hand, that's interesting. That's cool. Energy Switch has really been a great card in the Darkrai decks, and it's going to allow him to junk hunt for basically it's a catcher, and a random receiver. That's two nice cards.
Yeah, he has access to catcher, random receiver, Ultra Ball. I mean, and obviously the Energy Switch as well. So all these options are pretty good for him. It'll be interesting to see what he comes out with. And you have to realize that if the Darkrai deck doesn't play any other attacker, then it's really going to have to use Sableye to knock out the Sigilif.
Oh, so he gets he almost forgot the Energy Switch was actually in the discard, so he gets the Energy Switch. Oh, because he has a Juniper in his hand, so that would make sense.
Yeah, the interesting thing is going to be, well, does Aaron have any supporters this game? But also, can he get those crucial energy and the Ho-Ohs in the discard pile? Because until you discard Ho-Oh, you can't use Rebirth, which is really the heart and soul of your deck. You can't power anything up. So the biggest hurdle for the Ho-Oh deck is going to be getting these things into the discard pile, which Aaron just hasn't been able to do so far.
Now you see Aaron actually go for a catcher on the Darkrai, and I mean honestly that's not that great of a strategy, seeing as how the Darkrai does get free retreat as soon as it gets a Darkness Energy attached to it. But really you see Aaron kind of grasping for straws here and looking for a way out of this. Lucky for him, he's in no real danger, and he's got plenty of turns to find a way to draw out of this.
Yeah, well, maybe not. I mean, here comes a Confuse Ray, and it's heads. So now he has a Confused Sigilyph, and yeah, Sableye's just getting in there.
Yeah, but lucky for him, I don't think that Sigilif was planning on attacking anytime soon. But he does get an Ultra Ball here, discards 2 energy cards. No doubt going to be finding a Ho.
Yeah, he did draw a Juniper there, so that's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. You saw a bad shuffle, but that's because he's going back in to his deck. He discards his first Ho. I'm pretty sure he's going to go after a second one if he does have the Juniper. It would make sense, and he looks like he is.
Yeah, the nice thing about this situation for Aaron is that even though his start is a little rough, it actually doesn't matter because he has Sigilif out there, and he's in no danger of losing for the next 8 turns. since it's like 10 at a time for Confuse Ray. Maybe Dark Claw could throw off the math a little bit, catch him off guard, but he really has plenty of time to get his stuff going.
Not to mention that Ryan actually attached the Dark Claw already to his bench Darkrai, which is interesting, seeing as how he's going to have to get past that Sigilif eventually.
Yeah, this might be a build where it's like it just chooses Dark Claw over Eviolite. You know, he's just like, you're not going to attack me because I Crushing Hammered all your energies away, so I might as well knock you out faster.
Exactly. Now, we do see a Juniper out of Aaron's hand, and, I mean, honestly, that could not have been any more timely. I'm sure Aaron was sitting there sweating bullets up until he drew that card. And he's going to be flipping for...
Rebirth.
Rebirth, okay. I was going to say, flipping
yeah.
attack. What kind of attack can he do? But yeah, he does get the Rebirth, and he does get the head, so now that Ho's got a couple of energy on it, and it's pretty in shape here.
Oh, man.
Super scoop up, he got heads. Oh, wow.
Oh, it's coming in for a knockout. Oh, man.
Attaches a third different colored energy to that Ho, and that Ho is... It's out for blood, man.
Yeah, he's telling that Sableye to taste the rainbow. That's exactly what happened there.
Oh, man, all right. That's bad pun number one, but we do have the first prize taken from the game from Aaron, and it's interesting to see how this Ho deck is, coming together. It was a really bad start, to be honest with you, and Aaron still pulled through. Obviously, a timely Juniper helped out there, but still, the fact that he managed to get this Ho out so early with 3 different energies, and that's just a really fast clock, and your opponent is sitting there reeling. He has only 1 energy on his Darkrai, no other energy attached. Ryan's going to have to do something here.
Yeah, if he can get that Sigilif powered up, then he'll be in, like, great shape. If he can, like, start using actual attacks against the Sableyes, then... Or if Ryan runs out of Sableye, then the game is actually just over. So it's going to like hinge on a weird interaction between Sigilif and Sableye.
Yeah, it is interesting, but yeah, you might be right there.
Yeah, I think this matchup is just, it's kind of weird in general. Ho, I mean, when you look at it, it's not a very good attacker. Rainbow Burn, free energy, you're doing 80. The thing that holds Ho back the most is 160 hit points. It's just brutal when it comes to, I mean, pretty much every other EX attacking against it. So if we can see Ryan get some Eviolites down, it's going to be tough for Ryan to put up a big offensive because Ho-Oh does not do that much damage.
Exactly. Now, we saw him Juniper away a couple of Pokemon catchers. In this matchup, that might not be as relevant as it would be in others, but still, you have to wonder if those catchers are going to come back to bite him later on. And we see a Crushing Hammer Tails out of Ryan. Aaron's got to be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if I saw like a Junk Hunt this turn for like 2 Crushing Hammers, because I feel like Crushing Hammer is going to be like the card that's going to save him against that Sigilif. So, be interesting to see what he does.
Now he retreats his Darkrai, choosing not to let it take any damage. Activates the Darkrai with the Dark Claw on it, and he obviously passes here. So he's going to let that Darkrai take a little bit of damage while he actually gets enough energy on his other Darkrai to start attacking.
Yeah, one of the things that's going to have to come into play here, as Aaron plays a catcher, which is going to be big.
The variety, by the way.
Yeah, but one of the big things is Ho-Oh decks play Terrakion. So at some point, even if Ryan gets a knockout, all it takes is a Rebirth heads to get fighting energy back. Then you can energy switch to a Terrakion and retaliate out of nowhere to knock out Darkrai in one hit. So Eviolite is going to be super important for Ryan at some point.
You're starting to sound like Pram here, saying, "Oh, all it takes is a Rebirth heads." Give me a break.
Well, when you got 2 or 3 Ho's in your discard pile, it's not as tough as you would think.
See, this is what I have to put up with.
We see an energy switch here, choosing to put the energies on his now bench Darkrai with the Dark Claw because the other one got captured up. I like this play, obviously. He's choosing to use his resources right before he Junipers, and he's going to discard a whole lot of nothing, I think.
Yeah, this gives him a lot of outs with like Dark Patch. Another energy switch will be like a way to get a Night Spear off this turn with a fresh Darkrai. That's going to be pretty huge.
Exactly. So there's a Dark Patch that's going to give him his 3rd energy on his Darkrai, and he will be able to attack this turn.
Yeah, that first Night Spear is going to be huge. It's just going to put Aaron in kind of a pickle. I mean, what does he do from here? there's no other attacker really waiting for him. I mean, he can always rebirth when the Ho-Oh goes down, but like you said before, those are coin flips you have to bank on.
Well, what's kind of funny is that the Sigilyph just takes no damage, so it's just like, yeah, I'm large and in charge. Yeah.
That was a pseudo-meaningless tool scrapper there. The damage has already been done to this hoe, and it's within one Night Spear away, regardless of the Dark Claw or not. But still, I mean, he played it, and just to be better safe than sorry, I guess. I'm assuming he's going to play some sort of a supporter right now and probably discard the rest of his hand.
I hate to break it to you, but I don't see no supporter in Aaron's hand.
I saw like DCEs.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, then...
Something interesting I'm seeing in Ryan's hand. I see a second Dark Claw, so there's a chance he might not even play Eviolite. I also see Max Potion, which is going to be huge to kind of sway the battle here between Ho-Oh and Darkrai. If he can heal off a Darkrai completely, that's going to absolutely change the way this matchup goes.
I wonder how many times this weekend or during this event that he's like gone with I'll energy switch all my energies over and I'll max potion and mirror match. Just be like, yeah, I just did that. And with a Dark Claw, like if he plays max potion, it kind of makes sense to like you can take that risk with Dark Claw.
Now, how worried are you guys for Aaron here? Especially now that you see a catcher. I mean, that really does put Aaron in a really bad spot, considering that his hand's dead. And we see a Crushing Hammer. A Heads would surely put... Okay, no, that's another Tails. But you see Aaron kind of be put in a tough spot here because, I mean, he's low on options, has no supporter, and now his Terrakian's about to be put in a really bad spot, not being able to really utilize that revenge to its fullest.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is where, like, Dark Claw would be, like, really cool here with Darkrai, because then you can hit the Terrakion for 110, put 30 on the Ho-Oh, and then, like, if he drops anything that's, like, not Sigilyph, then, he'd be in great shape.
Yeah, the dreaded 3-prize turn is coming up, where Ryan can knock out both Terrakion and Ho-Oh, thanks to Dark Claw mainly, but he actually attached the Dark Claw to his Sableye. So, I mean, there's no 110 play on the Terrakion, but he can still just hit it for Night Spear twice and then knock out the Ho-Oh too. And that's, I mean, 3 prizes, that is half the game right there.
And it's nice to see that Dark Claw on the Sableye. I can't stress enough how much of a clock that Sigilyph really buys him, him being Aaron, because without a way to really deal damage to this Sigilyph, he's forced to Confuse Ray, and 10 damage a turn just was not going to cut it. This Dark Claw brings that clock down immensely, down to 3 turns.
So yeah, now this is just horrible situation for Aaron. He drew an energy. I'm sure he was hoping for a supporter. All he can do is retaliate for 60, since nothing got knocked out. And his 2 attackers are going to be wiped out, leaving him with that Sigilyph sitting there looking cool, doing nothing.
Yeah, and we're probably going to see a huge max potion this turn. Like, he just retreats, max potions, and builds another Darkrai.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't even think that matters all that much. Like Kyle said, with both attackers gone, his opponent not having played a single supporter in the last few turns, this is all kind of like academic at this point. 3 prizes is too much to really come back from.
It's weird. Yeah. Or good.
Yeah, I mean, Sigilyph is a funny card because you look at it and you're like, Safeguard, counters EXs, but every single game I see this card in, it just sits there. It does absolutely nothing. It does not attack anything. It does not help someone win. You just kind of put it down there and it sits there the entire game and nobody even acknowledges it. Nobody looks at it. Nobody wants to be its friend. It's just there until something finally knocks it out.
Well, there's an actual Eviolite. I wasn't sure if he was going to play it. I wasn't sure if he actually played it in his deck list because obviously he plays the Dark Claw, but he does. Not that it actually matters much, but he does. And we see a Dark Patch, probably going to be attached to that Sableye with the Dark Claw. It is. And the Sigilyph is now going to be put on a clock. I really don't know what Aaron can really do here.
Yeah, I'd expect like Crushing Hammers at this point with a Dark Patch. Maybe he even goes for 30. He does go for the 30, so yeah.
It's a sad existence when you're getting taken out of play by a Sableye.
So he can always rebirth again, try to like take out the Sableye, but he's gonna need a heads for this. So that's one Ho-Oh. He still has another one left. And we'll just see if he can get that heads.
Yeah, I mean, it can let him get a knockout, but then that's also another Pokemon that Ryan can knock out himself, which is 2 more prizes, and then it's just knockout Sigilyph and game over. So yeah, this is not looking good for our Ho-Oh player.
Well, he can always run into that situation where he might just deck his opponent with Sigilyph. Just be like, yep, I've taken out all your Sableyes, and now you have nothing. Ha ha.
I'm pretty sure that's not happening this game. But, a man can dream. We are going to see the second attack, the second Confuse Ray, I believe it's called, come down, and that's going to be a 1-turn clock. He's knocking on his deck to see if it'll provide him any help. But at this point, really, what kind of help does he need? I mean, I really don't see this game going anybody's way but Ryan's.
I've just prescribed exactly what he needs. He needs those Sableyes to be knocked out, and he needs Sigilyph to take him all the way via decking.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually not out of the question. He actually, at this point, he probably needs like a super scoop up to get this thing off the field. And did he top deck a supporter there? I couldn't tell.
It was a Juniper. Heyo.
So here we go. We're going to make things interesting, at least. It all starts with the Rebirth, though.
Tails,
double tails.
All starts with the Rebirth.
Sheesh. Well, see if Lady Luck's on his side right now.
Oh, he gets
heavy
even.
light. Ooh, another Ho. Nice.
He definitely got a Pokemon. See him bench.
Oh boy, he's benching a Ho.
That's kind of not sure on that one. I would have liked the Eviolite on the Sigilyph though. Would have been nice.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, I mean at that point you only get Confuse Raid for 10. You survive, but now you pretty much just lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure he was going to lose this game anyways. Just given the board state, given the fact that the Sigilyph is about to be knocked out, and that's kind of like your answer to really decking your opponent out. I'm not sure. I don't want to call it too early, but, I mean, let's face it. 2 prizes left against 5, the board dominance, and the fact that your opponent now has an almost infinite supply of Darkrai is really waiting for him is just not looking good.
Well, if he can maybe get a Shaman EX out after Darkrai comes up, and then, if he can get a knockout here, and then get a catcher, assuming Dark Claw doesn't come down on a Darkrai, he can maybe pull this out. It's doable.
Yeah. There's a term for this called drawing dead, and he's definitely not at that point yet. But it's getting there, and the good news for him is that Ryan's deck has got to be like definitely in single digits, but probably low single digits right now.
I think he's probably got around like 8 or 9 cards left, so he'll have plenty of turns. He just needs to knock out one more Ho-Oh when the game ends. So he's gonna need like a Tool Scrapper, or I mean we've seen 2 Dark Claws already, so I don't think we'll see another one of those. But Tool Scrapper, I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, his only chances at this point is Shaman EX. I can't really see any other out for him, but we'll see if that can pop down.
So, anyways, guys, now that we know that, I mean, the odds are slim for Aaron to really come through with this game. What has he learned from this? What lesson has he learned from this game that can help him out moving forward in the second and third games?
Knock out Sableyes very quickly.
Drawing supporters is good.
Well, I mean, obviously, but like for example, the Dark Claws are not something that you'd normally expect out of your opponent's deck. That kind of had to take him by surprise. I'm sure that the Sigilyph was a big part of his game plan coming into this matchup, and the fact that really the Sigilyph was neglected due to the Dark Claw has to kind of change his game plan up a little bit.
Well, I mean, he just didn't have much this game. Let's be honest. He didn't draw a supporter for a very long time. Didn't have very many options. I'm sure if he had more cards to work with, he would have gone for a big play with Terrakion, energy switching onto it, getting a Retaliate knockout. But, I mean, what has he been able to do this game? most of it's just been passing with a Sigilif active and attacking with Ho-Ohs.
Yeah, getting tails on Ho as well. Now, Kyle, you've been playing this deck for a while now, much more than myself or Pram. What do you really, what do you really feel his matchup is like against this Darkrai deck?
I think it's very close. Anything with Terrakion, where you can just drop it down and knock out a Darkrai in one hit, is going to be very close. The problem with the Ho-Oh deck has always been, which Pokemon do I lead off with? And the Sigilif was probably his best bet. I don't know what other attackers he runs, but the problem is just you don't really have good things to start with. Terrakion is not a good starter. Shaman EX is a horrible starter. Ho-Oh is just as bad. So, I mean, what Pokemon does he play that he wants to start with? I think this is the problem. He's always going to find himself behind in the early going, and then he has to recover.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point right there. Pram, any thoughts?
No, that's pretty much it. But we do see a N here. I don't know. This is this is probably just going to end soon.
Yeah, that Ho has quite a bit of damage on it. I believe 110, right?
7.
Yeah.
Or is that 70?
It's 7 right now, but it'll be 140 in a little bit.
Yeah, the Eviolites kind of mess up the math a little bit for the Darkrai, so it will have to knock it out in 3 hits and not 2. But still, that's just a 2-turn clock away. His benched Ho has no energies on it, and he has 1 Ho left in the discard, I believe. So, I mean, there is still hope, and there's that attack, or there's that power ability, whatever you want to call it, and it's finally a heads. Yes. And it is finally a heads, and you do see the 3 different energies come down. It's really cool seeing that little rainbow of energy cards come down. It's a very flavorful card, and I do kind of like that. I appreciate that out of the creators of the game.
Yeah. So he's catching up this Darkrai here. I don't know how much I like that. I almost just want to hit the one that's active and then kind of hold the catcher for later.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, there's not really a good way he can go about it. It also depends on what other attackers he has left. You know, if he can, most of these decks play Mewtwo, so if he can get these Darkrai's in a position where he can drop down a Mewtwo, Energy Switch, DCE, and start X-bowing them for knockouts, he can knock out 2 Darkrai's back to back. Maybe that's his plan.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. If he drops a Mewtwo this turn with a bunch of energy on it, then, this could turn around right here.
But it looks like he's going the other route, a Ho-Oh with a bunch of energy on it. And we'll see if this pays off.
That random receiver is looking through a lot of cards and finally finds a Juniper. That's definitely the card he wanted to find there. Well, that or an N, I guess, but his opponent's only got a 1-card hand, I believe. 2 cards, maybe. So, yeah, the Juniper's fine. Finds the Juniper. He's going to hopefully find himself a couple more options and maybe get himself back into this game because, I mean, let's face it. The game's been pretty one-sided for the last, 15 minutes.
Yeah, if he can get a catcher here, that'd be, huge. So, it's just going to come down to, what he draws.
I mean, I think Aaron is going to go for... Oh, there's Mewtwo, by the way. But I think he's going to go for Super Scoop Up, because if he doesn't get this active off the board, all it takes is a catcher and Night Spear, game over. He actually has 5 energy, or is that... Yeah, 5 energy on the Ho-Oh. That does 120. If he can get 1 more, that'll get past the Eviolite. He needs 1 more different type of energy on there, and he can get a knockout on this Darkrai, and then he's going to force Ryan to have a catcher to win.
Yeah, I almost question how many different types of energy he had. What?
Well, I guess he had enough.
Yeah, I think he had a hit energy right under his Ho-Oh.
I count 5. Whatevs.
Yeah. But it looks like Ryan gets a Dark Claw and wins the game anyway.
Dark Claw pulling in huge.
Yeah, I do count 5 as well. Who knows if they just might have forgotten the Eviolite or if maybe we just don't know how to count.
Maybe there's 80 on the Darkrai already. Who knows?
Yeah.
Plenty of different options. Either way, this definitely goes Ryan's way. And again, this is very telling of the format. The way that this matchup kind of played out where one player got ahead and he just never gave up control. That's really what we've been seeing quite a bit of in this format. And, I mean, a little bit unfortunate, yes, but, I mean, still, you have to kind of feel for Aaron to just kind of get steamrolled there for 20 minutes and just kind of sit there and take it.
Well, I think that was actually kind of a positive experience for him. This was a really bad start, a really bad game for him in general. and he still kept it really close. I mean, if he had one more turn, I think he actually wins. He can knock out another Darkrai. So he's got to feel good knowing that, all right, pretty much nothing went right for me there, and I still almost won. So I'm going to feel pretty confident going into the next games.
Yeah, as long as he can draw decent and flip decently well, I think. I mean, I'd almost like based on that one game, I would almost call Aaron a favorite in this matchup. Which is weird, but with the Terrakions and the Mewtwo's and late game Shaman, it can, and those crushing hammers, they don't really do too much because of Ho-Oh's power. It can go in Aaron's favor very easily.
Yeah, I actually don't mind this matchup at all for Ho-Oh. You actually prefer to play against Darkrai decks just because of Terrakion, and you're not too weak to Night Spear in general. So I think this is probably a matchup that Aaron wanted to get in this situation, and as long as he can draw well, he'll be good.
So they are still shuffling. They're still trying to figure out, or they're not trying to figure anything out. But we're sitting here trying to figure out exactly what Aaron can do. Aaron was close. Aaron relatively close. But really, you kind of have to feel the fact that Ryan's Darkrai's just have a really strong attack. Obviously, Night Spear is potentially the best attack in the game, and Ho needs to get a lot of energies on it in order to really keep up with Darkrai's damage output. And the Super Scoop Ups might help. A few Super Scoop Up heads will definitely change the tide of battle. But for the most part, Ryan looks confident, and I think he feels confident because, in my opinion, the matchup is in Ryan's favor. And the body language will kind of, tell you, even though it is kind of a relaxed game at the same time, but the body language will kind of, give you an idea of it, where each of these players feels they're at in this matchup.
Tell you what I'm trying to figure out. What in the world is on that playmat? I mean, it looks like
it's a goblin.
Hey, man, it's a goblin. It's absolutely a goblin with, like, some sort of a rocket coming out of its arm.
Yeah, that thing reminds me of a Bullet Bill from the Mario games. I guess that's a goblin.
That is a goblin. That's exactly what it is.
I'm just perplexed by that playmat. Why would you cover up the beautiful world's playmat with that?
Because you just really like goblins. I don't know.
Look, man,
I guess so.
I get it. You're not as much of a nerd as the rest of us, but I played the World of Warcraft card game. I know exactly what kind of a creature this is. It's absolutely a goblin, and I think the art's pretty nice. So
I think Aaron's best option here is like to somehow get Sigilif on the board and kind of tank with it with an Eviolate and buy enough time for you to put Ho-Ohs in the discard and kind of set up like your best options, and then kind of like if you don't give up too many prizes, then you can just kind of push and then be like, all right, I'm in good shape now. I've gotten my Rebirth off, and I've just I'm starting to take prizes, and you really couldn't take prizes because of Safeguard.
Yeah, unfortunately, I believe Aaron's got a Terrakion start, so.
Yeah, Terrakion, I mean, like I said the last game, it's probably actually one of your best starters. What else are you going to start with this deck? I guess Mewtwo would be your best bet, but then this is always the problem for me with the Ho-Oh deck. Like, what in the world are you hoping to start with? If you have Shaman EX, Mewtwo, Terrakion, Ho-Oh, and then Sigilif, I guess. Like, what is your preferred starter in that situation? Most of them are just not going to work out well. So Terrakion might actually be what he wants.
Did you guys catch how Aaron flashed the Juniper and the Ho-Oh and then the energies as well? He was like, yeah, this is what you're going to have to deal with, buddy. Good luck.
He's like, yeah, turn 1 Rebirth is coming, buddy. Turn 1 Rainbow Burn for 80.
That would be like really huge. If he gets that off, he might just win.
That's just the power of Ho-Oh. You never know what's coming for you next. You could get a turn 1 Rainbow Burn for 80, maybe even 100. If you get enough crazy cards going, enough flips, you could actually pull off a turn 1 Land Crush. So who knows?
Yeah, we're gonna see. It's gonna come down to this Rebirth flip, and it's tails.
So unfortunate that Rebirth heads would have been just fun to watch and see if does he have the switch?
Yeah, he does. He does. He has the switch. He would have been able to get the Rainbow Burn for 80, and he'd effectively be up like 2 prizes turn 1.
Unreal. We do see a Crushing Hammer. He has yet to get heads on this, and remains the same. Crushing Hammer, definitely a flippy card, and its effect would have been nicer, slowing down the Terrakion by an entire turn. So we see a Darkness Energy be attached. Now Bianca is going to draw him 3 cards, I believe, and he's looking for something, because if that was his best supporter, then unfortunately he didn't draw any other supporters, so he might be in a little bit of trouble here at the start of the game. He being Ryan.
I think he has another Bianca, I think. I'm not exactly sure. But he's just going to sit back and relax and be like, okay, go Shaman, or go Sableye, and another Rebirth.
Ooh.
Rebirth is ahead. And
I don't know about you, but if I'm Ryan here, I'm sweating bullets, because a turn 2 Land Crush is a perfect possibility here with just an energy switch and a fighting. And that means your Darkrai could get knocked out turn 2, and things start to go downhill from there.
Yeah, it just all depends on what this random receiver gives him. If it's a Juniper, then he's in... I don't know if he wants Juniper. He might want N.
Well, he probably wants something, because he's revealed about half of his deck at this point.
And he's still revealing more. I wonder if his entire prizes are supporters and he's down and none left. He's starting to sweat it now.
He did discard a lot of supporters in his opening hand.
Man. Oh, this is actually getting scary, dude.
There's the end.
Everybody's excited. We saw the end.
Ryan was pretending to take notes there, writing down every card in Aaron's deck.
So he's going for a switch here, and he's going after the Sableye here. I can't imagine him going after anything else. You know, if he was going after the Darkrai, I imagine he just catchers here and just kind of goes, "Yep, I'm just gonna keep the Terrakion active."
Ryan kind of gave him the "come and get it, buddy," and as the Ho is coming active, he now understands that he's gonna have to find 1 more energy in order to start attacking with the Ho. But as confident as Ryan seems there with a "come and get it," I think he's bluffing. I'm pretty sure he's sitting there going like, oh man, what do I got to do about this big boy?
Yeah, even a turn 2 Ho-Oh is really, really strong. Like, turn 1 is, like, ridiculous. Turn 2 is strong. When you get to around turn 3, turn 4, that's when you just go, oh, this is getting kind of late, isn't it?
Yeah, I think a lot of things just happen here. The first, with the random receiver revealing about 30 cards of his deck, that's gotta be scary if you're Aaron, just knowing that, oh boy, I revealed a ton of cards. How many supporters do I actually have left? Can I actually play a full game at this point? I mean, I gotta try to win as quickly as possible, otherwise I'm just gonna fizzle out. That's number 1. Number 2 is, if you have the option, I'd definitely just knock out Sableye here, because it prevents Ryan from being able to use Dark Patch and such. So, take the prize here if you can. I would not play a catcher if you have it.
Whew, that was scary. He almost did not draw an energy.
And also, interestingly, is that his hand is really bad. Like Kyle mentioned, his hand is definitely not a late game hand, and he's really going to want to start taking prizes here.
Well, I think he's going to be in decent shape as long as Ryan doesn't do an N. That's exactly what Aaron wanted.
Yeah, some cards that I think Aaron's going to need to get at this point are switches. If Ryan decides to catch out his Terrakion, Switch, Super Scoop Up are going to be big. I do believe that's a fighting on his Ho-Oh, and there's a fighting on Terrakion as well. So if he can pull off an Energy Switch and Land Crush, he could actually win this turn.
Yeah, it's just really going to come down to these 6.
So yeah, we see a shuffle out of Aaron. Ryan's obviously looking for a Pokemon to bench. He does not want to get benched this game. And even though the catcher is possible on the Terrakion, you have to wonder, like you mentioned, all he needs is 1 energy switch and 1 of any other energy in order to really start one-shotting these Darkrai's. So I'm sure he's also looking for an Eviolite pretty badly here.
And just another Pokemon. He can't even Night Spear this turn because he's already attached for the turn. So this is
going to
be...
Ball, so that's pretty good for him.
Yeah, he'll at least prevent himself from benching out, but his long-term options here are starting to just kind of get burned away by Ho. And what does he do here? If he gets a Pokemon, if he gets a Sableye, retreat to it, it gets knocked out. If you leave the Darkrai active, it just gets hit in the face for 80. There's no good situation here.
Yeah, at this point, it's almost like he's trading a Sableye for a Crushing Hammer, which is it's a pretty poor trade.
Yeah, he can't even... Well, he has a Dark Patch in his hand, I guess. I was going to say he couldn't even attack with Junk Hunt if he wanted to, but that option is there, yeah.
I think finding a Darkrai here would be a little bit too risky. I would rather see him find a Sableye and just sacrifice one prize. Like we mentioned, one energy switch is all it's really going to take in order for the Darkrai to be knocked out, and you don't want to give your opponent two prizes. You want to give him one if you can help it. So he does find the Sableye. The Sableye is going to get benched, and he's going to retreat to it and just sacrifice a prize. Now, we saw Aaron flash a card. He keeps flashing these cards. I don't know how smart that is. Like, at first, it's like, okay, that's just, fun. Let's keep it friendly or whatever. But at this point, you're giving your opponent a lot of tells, a lot of information that you really don't need to. And let's hope it, doesn't backfire.
Well, the first one was showing Ryan that I got the turn 1 Ho-Oh, which he was going first, so it didn't really matter. This one here, he flashed a Tool Scrapper. I think that was just kind of a joke, because it's a really irrelevant card at this point. So these guys clearly are friendly with each other. But yeah, I understand what you're saying too.
Mm-hmm. Now, he's going to get to Junk Hunt. He did have the Dark Patch, so at least his Sableye isn't going to go to waste. It'll be interesting to see what he picks up. I'm going to assume he's going to maybe pick up a Ultra Ball and a Crushing Hammer, I guess.
He goes for the Catcher and Dark Claw. Okay, so
for 2, buddy.
What he's planning here is he's going to go for after that Ho on the bench and just be like, this or this Terrakion. This Terrakion's getting really dangerous.
Does he have an energy switch?
Oh, man. Is he slow rolling the energy switch? That would be brutal. That would be game break. No, he's not. He's just dealing 60 to it. A friendly 60.
Ooh. That's a letdown. I wanted to see a Land Crush, but he just does 60. And now Ryan's going to be able to Night Spear the active for 110 with that Dark Claw. And then he's just going to hit Ho-Oh for 10. So he's actually still going to be in really rough shape, especially considering his hand is just, I think it's a Dark Patch and a Catcher. So he's going to decide to bring out the Ho-Oh instead.
Yeah, he captured the Ho, dealing 30 to that Terrakion, which is a better idea than the first one. At least this way he's threatening to put the Terrakion in within one-shot knockout.
So this is going to be a big top deck. Does he get a fighting? No.
He gets a Grass, which is an energy type that he does not currently have on the Ho, so it's not completely irrelevant. It's not the best top deck in the world, but extra damage is extra damage.
Well, he can always catcher up the... if he has a Catcher in his hand, he can always catcher up the Sableye, take a prize, and then go from there. He might even want to Tool Scrapper away that Dark Claw. Yeah.
Tool Scrapper, really?
Those are with emphasis.
We do see that Grass energy, so he's going to be able to deal extra damage, like we mentioned earlier. But the game is kind of turned in Ryan's favor, just because Aaron didn't really have any I say tools, but I don't actually mean tools. Any tools to really, mess with. And you see Aaron fist pumping. No, he gets a Bianca, which I guess is not the worst.
Yeah, he definitely wanted Ryan to get an end so he could get a fresh hand there.
Exactly. But yeah, we are seeing kind of the tables turn without really much of anything happening. Ryan just kind of he didn't make sure, but Ryan's Pokemon did not get knocked out. All his opponent could do was revenge. Now Ryan's going to be able to knock out this Ho-Oh.
Well, it's retaliate, first of all. But I actually think Ryan was in a tough spot there if he didn't top deck a supporter. Sure, he can take the knockout on the Ho-Oh, and then Terrakion comes up and knocks him out, and he's left with a Sableye. So that was a monster top deck from Ryan to really keep himself in the game.
I don't think you've heard me when I've said that Sableye is one of the best attackers in the game. When I've said it, I've meant it, but that confusion and that Junk Hunt, I could have saved him from anything, including retaliate.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not that good, though.
No, I don't think they're doing math, but they're definitely talking about it, and the Ho does go down. Two prizes come up for Ryan, and the Terrakion now has 60 damage on it, which is not irrelevant, even though it seems like it might be.
A catcher here would be huge. Just take out that fresh Darkrai.
Yeah. I don't think he has it. He needs to get another Pokemon in play for sure. He's got Ryan fist pumps on the tails, and he's Ultra Balling away another Ho-Oh. He probably needs to get another one. But here comes Sigilyph just to make sure this game is going to be extended for a long time.
Yeah, that's kind of his insurance policy to make sure that nothing funny happens, and he's going to be able to at least get a few more flips in from Ho.
Yeah, Sigilyph is like really nice here because it's like, okay, even if I don't get heads on Ho, I can just sit behind this for a turn, and you really can't do anything about it because you're all EXs all the time.
One turn, try 9 turns.
Well, I think we're going to see another Rebirth and another Tails. So I guess we'll see a Retaliate to knock this out, and this is going to be big if Ryan can have a Dark Patch or an Energy Switch, plus an Energy to knock out this Terrakion. If he doesn't, he's going to be in some scary territory.
See a Crushing Hammer in Ryan's hand, so that's a fallback plan if he's ever going to need one.
He also has a Dark Patch there. Worst case scenario, you can just Junk Hunt, get more Dark Patches back, and be in decent shape.
He's going to be in incredible shape if he can just get one more energy to knock out the Terrakion.
Yeah, well, playing Hammer means that he's not going to have the energy.
Well, he might just be playing down his hand for a Juniper.
Yeah, that or Bianca. Or Juniper.
Yeah, there's that Juniper. Discards a Switch, amongst other cards. That's another player playing Switch that currently plays Darkrai. So maybe the trend's falling apart, and maybe people are starting to play Switch on their Darkrai's now.
Yep, so we do see some energy switches and a Dark Patch. So, and an energy switch. His hand's just full of it. So he has a ton of energy now, and he's going to be rolling with that Darkrai. It's really fortunate that there's a Sigilyph right there.
Yeah, that's the only thing standing between Aaron and being eliminated from the tournament.
And he's gonna get 2 Rebirth flips next turn. That's gonna be pretty huge. And yeah, we'll just see how this turns out.
Yeah, I mean, the energy was big. We're gonna see Terrakion go down. Aaron could still pull off one of those Ho-Oh turns where he just gets a Rebirth, energy switches onto a Terrakion, pulls off a magical Retaliate knockout. If he can pull that off, I think he's pretty much got this game in the bag. It's a lot of cards to have, though, so we'll see. It's all going to depend on what Aaron has at this point.
I believe Aaron has 3 Hoes in his Discord, or is that just 3? Or is that just 2? I'm sorry.
I think just 2.
Okay, so 2 shots at the ability, and if he does manage to get the heads, I don't see a Terrakion or anything remotely resembling one in his hand.
There's one in his hand.
Oh, really?
Yep,
Yeah.
It's a full art.
I am like 0 for like 100 in this game. I should just shut up. Okay, so we're gonna see if he's gonna be able to. Nope, that's one more Tails. Nope. Suspense killing me.
Oh,
another
wow!
Tails. So brutal.
Oh man,
Heartbreaking
this guy
almost.
cannot flip heads for the life of him.
Well, let's see. At least he can buy another turn with this Sigilyph.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere anytime soon, that's for sure. Unless Ryan drops down some... I mean, there is a Sigilyph from another set that could maybe knock this thing out in one hit, but I don't think anyone plays that one.
Only you know what it does, Kyle. Don't worry.
I know what
Sableye,
it
though. Here comes the... what Crim claims to be the best attacker in the game going to town here.
Oh yeah, and we see why. That is gonna put the nail in the coffin.
If he ever gets a heads, it might be the other way around. Oh my!
Yeah, wow, the double tails, and he throws his arms up. He's he's having fun with it, but to be honest with you, he's definitely got to be a little bit rattled here. The fact that he can't get anything going for him, and he could absolutely still be in this game if if the flips were going even remotely in his favor.
Well, he has one more turn to get out of Ho-Oh. If he can still, if he continues on with the Sableye course, he can still get Ho-Oh out and then still be in decent shape.
Yeah, the Ultra Ball is going to find. Well, it's going to look through things, but it's probably just going to find a Darkrai. Really, largely irrelevant. Trying to just look through his deck, see what he's got left, and he's making He's making a lot of hand signals. I'm not really sure what he's trying to
Yeah, he's pointing out the promo Darkrai, that's why.
It's a very nice looking Darkrai. It's an art that's actually grown on me. I was just like, I wasn't sure how much I liked it, and then I'm like, this isn't actually that bad. Ooh.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of the full art one. I think the full art one's the ugliest out of the bunch, but the promo one's not bad.
Double dark patch, very nice.
For a split second there, I thought he was ultra balling those dark patches away, and I was like, "What are you doing, man? There's got to be worse cards in your hand than that."
So
right,
he draws the
is,
energy switch.
Yeah, this is the big turn. He needs a Rebirth Heads this time. If he doesn't, this one is over.
All right, there it is.
Fine. He heard you. He heard you. He's like, all right, man, I'm not going to fool around anymore.
Great shape here. So he's going to be able to
Picks out the full art.
If he can get a super scoop up heads here, oh man, just pick up that Sigilif, send up Ho-Oh, take a prize. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, I don't know why he's going with that. He does have the super scoop up in hand, I suppose. Another heads on Rebirth that's going to get even more energy out here. Now this is actually still a good situation for Aaron. He's at 3 prizes. He'll knock out the Sableye, go down to 2. That means just 1 Darkrai knockout and he'll win the game.
Yeah,
Starting to get the heads.
Well, that was coming for him. I mean, like, he had that coming for a while.
Yeah. He was due. He's replaying that Sigilif, this time with an energy. No, he already attached an energy to this round.
He didn't attach, he energy switched.
Yep.
Okay, a little bit of confusion, but yeah. He is bringing down that Sigilif with a Psychic Energy, I believe. Or not. There
it goes.
All right, man, let him play it.
Yeah, he definitely should be able to do it.
And he's going to get on the 2 prizes, so...
He wins the argument, and the Sigilif comes into play with the energy.
If he can draw another energy switch with the Terrakion, he wins the game.
Yeah, I feel like Aaron actually made a very big mistake there, playing the energy switch. He could have saved that for just a turn where he goes, Terrakion, energy switch, good game. I get to knock out your Darkrai.
Yeah,
now he's removed that option where he can just win the game, and he's made it difficult for himself to actually take it down. And he's put down 2 Ho-Ohs, which gives Ryan 2 options to knock things out. So just a little bit of bench management, poor decisions there, and playing the energy switch that might cost him the game.
Well, I mean, like, he still has a good shot, but there is a max potion in Ryan's hand, and that card's been very big for Ryan. Like, you know, last game there was a situation where there was a ton of damage on a Darkrai. Well, 1 max potion later, no longer, and it's going to come into play this turn, or this coming up turn. So it's really good. It's been really good for him.
It almost feels like Aaron just realized his mistake as he was about to bench the Draken, going like, man, I could have, all right, I'll bench it anyways.
Yeah. I almost feel like he just got too excited.
We see a potion and a max potion? All right. Ryan's getting a little carried away with the healing here, but yeah, we're gonna see a Night Spear and probably putting 30 on the Terrakion, I'm gonna assume.
So he knocks out.
You know what? I said that on purpose just so I could be wrong for the rest of the match, just so I could be wrong from the beginning to the end. All right, just so you guys know.
Yeah, the reason he's doing this is now it's Dark Claw away from a victory. He'll have.
Oh, that is true. The Dark Claw changes the map.
Yeah. But he's putting on the Terrakion. I guess you were right. He took it back.
Ah, yes. I mean, no. All right. Well, there goes my my 1,000. We'll have to wait and see if maybe I can improve on my math for the rest of this game. Double Colors comes down on the Sigilif. The Sigilif can now attack. Plays a switch. Going to be able to use that attack that Kyle's name knows.
Psychic.
And if we have catcher, do we have a catcher?
Yeah, a catcher would in this game.
Not quite actually. There's nothing to knock out on Aaron's board.
Catcher, Dark Patch or Dark Claw.
Yep.
Apology.
Yeah.
Max Potion.
Catcher and a Dark Claw.
Max Potions is Darkrai, making sure that no funny business happens there. And yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to have to knock out this turn, but he's still in such good shape.
We'll see what happens off this Juniper. Juniper is a lot of cards.
Yep. He actually discards his last Darkrai in order to do it.
There's a catcher.
There's catcher.
Catcher, Darkness. Nebulite.
Catcher. Catcher.
He's got catchers.
2 more cards.
Darklaw.
Oh, Darklaw. That's game. All right, he fist pumps, shows the Darklaw, shows the catcher. That's game. Oh, wow. That actually turned into a very exciting game. He activates his dragon for no reason. Yeah, that ended up being the death of my... I have to wonder if maybe the energy switch would have made a difference. I'm not sure. The game ended up being very close. Really, this could have gone to game 3 very easily.
Yeah, I feel like Ko is still a really good choice here for a deck, but, you know, just ended up being... just falling a little short.
Yeah, it's a very competitive deck. Very, very competitive deck. And it showed it. It proved that it can compete with, you know, what is arguably one of the top 2-3 best decks in the format. And it went head-to-head, and it was so close to snatching that victory in Game 2. So close.
Yeah, it all came down to that energy switch at the end for Aaron. If he would have saved that, he can just retaliate for the win. But that's just the difference of holding the card for the turn you need it or playing it too soon. One leads to a win, one leads to a loss. And unfortunately for Aaron, he did not. I don't think he drew a single supporter after that one turn where he random receivered and showed half of his deck.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That was probably part of his downfall too.
But yeah, Ryan goes through to the top 8, and Aaron unfortunately ends his awesome run here in the top 16. An incredible tournament, and we're gonna have to wait and see exactly how Ryan fares towards the end of this tournament.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the top 8.